I'm at Mama's Happy today, one of my very favorite upcycled shops, and I'm with Amanda Fissick, the owner of Mama's Happy. We are going to talk about chalk paints today.
Yes.
But first what I want to talk about is, I know what upcycling means. I mean, but it's kind of a newer term. What does it mean to you?
It is, and we have a lot of people ask that. And really, upcycled is kind of the new way of talking about recycling.
Okay.
In recycling, it's typically taking something and breaking it down and making it into something else. So, you throw your aluminum cans away and they get turned into something different. Upcycling is more about taking something as it is and making it into something new.
I love everything. It is interesting because a lot of the furniture and things that you do have in this store, I can look back and think, I think my aunt had that end table in her house in Wisconsin in 1972,
Yes.
And now it looks completely different. I mean,
Yes.
it's fresh, so it's really not only responsible, but resourceful and economical.
It really is, and especially in today's economy, it is a wonderful way to take things that people are getting rid of and give them a new life. It's also a great way when you're looking at furnishing your home to be able to use things that aren't made from scratch, that they're old.
I love doing that, and it's fun. The process is fun too. I like both parts. I like to actually do it myself, but then I like to buy other people's wares too. So, well, today we are going to do some projects with repurposing some frames, I think, right?
We are.
And then we're going to use chalk paint. So chalk paint, I just recently learned about chalk paint. It actually has changed my life. I love it. So
I'm glad you're not alone in that.
what is chalk paint specifically?
So the name chalk paint came from just the chalky finish that it has.
Okay.
Annie Sloan created the original chalk paint over 25 years ago in England.
Okay.
And it's taken quite a while to come to the States, but with the new upcycling trend, it has been huge since it came here about 3 years ago.
How is it different from other paints?
Well, the beauty of it is you don't have to do any sanding or priming or preparation before you paint. With other paints, you would always have to do that.
Okay.
So it makes the project itself so much easier. You get to skip over all the difficult, not fun parts.
Right.
So that's what we love about it.
Okay.
And the chalky finish gives a very predictable, old world look to it.
Is it hard to apply?
It is not at all hard to apply.
Good, because
You'll be just fine.
Okay. All right. So we have got some frames or some pieces of art here.
These are just some samples of things you might find at garage sales. This would be the kind of thing people would pass over at a garage sale because they don't like the picture. Whereas we immediately jump to the frame.
Okay.
Okay, so in a situation like this, I would most likely paint the frame and then do something else with it afterwards.
Okay. So you would kind of deconstruct this, get rid of the parts you don't want.
Yes. So I'm actually going to have you give it a try so you can see just how easy it is.
Okay.
And I picked a super fun color, Florence, which has been a hot color this
I love
summer.
that color.
And just fun. Many times people want to add a pop of color in their home, but they don't want to do it on something large.
Okay.
This is a great way to add a little color at your home.
Okay. Now, is there something special about this brush?
Well, the beauty of Annie's brushes, these are Annie Sloan's paint brushes, and they come in small and medium. The thickness and the density of the brush is really what is so beneficial. It holds so much paint that you can paint for a very long time on a piece of furniture before having to go back and dip into your can.
All right.
So it's one of those things that's not necessary.
Okay.
But if you're going to treat yourself.
Yes. Can I find this anywhere?
Any retailer that sells the paint also would carry the brushes.
Okay. All right.
And the paint is a little bit hard to find.
Are there other brands of chalk paints?
Well, since coming to the States, there have been some knockoffs. So if you start heading out, you'll see other brands. What I love about hers is that because it's been around for 25 years, the durability has been tried and tested.
Okay.
So there's furniture that's been around that's been painted with it for that long.
Okay.
So I like to stick with a product that has history to it.
Right.
And Annie chose to distribute her paint through small shops like mine, knowing that customers would come in to find it, and that would bring traffic into my stores. And I just love that.
That is really great.
That she gave it that much thought.
Yes.
I also love that she cares that much about educating, and she wanted her paint to be sold in stores where the retailer would give the customer the training and
have the conversation.
Exactly.
Yes, it's
where we have
really important. And you're right, it is really easy to do, but I think there are certain techniques that, like the second step, applying the wax, where you do really need some help sort of understanding exactly how to do that.
That's absolutely true. It's not difficult, but you do need just some pointers on how to best apply it.
I love this color, and it really is easy to apply.
It is, and what I love about this too, see here where the paint you didn't actually get it in all those nooks and crannies. I like that because the gold is peeping through.
It gives it sort of a patina or something like that. Okay.
It absolutely does. It looks like maybe it had been painted this way and then some of it wore off.
Now, we left the glass in when we started. Would you typically take that out, or?
Well, it depends on what I plan to do with it. I think it's super easy to paint it with the glass in.
Okay.
And then the beauty of this is that you can just come along with a razor blade and clean off. So if I'm painting anything that has glass or a mirror,
yes,
I just let it slop right over. That way I know I got it fully covered on the frame itself. And then I just come back and quickly with a razor blade clean that off.
One of those that it's like a flat blade that has a little handle. Yes, I've used that before.
Yes.
So we don't have a drop cloth either. What do you?
You know, if my husband were here, that'd be the first thing he would have noticed too. But the beauty of this is that it has, we can just use baby wipes to wipe it up, or a damp paper towel. It's a water-based paint.
Wow.
And so I rarely put on paint clothes. I rarely cover the surface that I'm using on. It's that easy.
So even if I would get it maybe on my clothes, it's going to wash off?
Yep. I just give it a little, you know, scratch before I put it in the wash, and it'll come right out.
That is awesome.
It is amazing.
So once I paint this, and then what's my next step?
Okay, so once the paint dries, and it does dry very quickly, I won't make you wait for that today, but so here is an example of a frame I painted earlier that has been painted, but we are going to apply the wax to it. Now what the wax will do is actually seals the paint in.
And this does feel chalky. You're right.
Yes. So the wax will protect it. It's like the equivalent of putting polyurethane over, but so much easier to work with.
Okay.
Now this is Annie Sloan's wax brush.
Okay.
You would not need to buy that. You can put it on with a clean cloth.
But these brushes are really dense. I mean, like you said, they're very easy to use, and they feel good in your hand.
They make the project easier. I kind of use the equivalent of having a dishwasher. Can you get your dishes clean without a dishwasher? Of course. But is it a whole lot easier with one? Yes.
Now, we talked earlier about the paint not getting into the crevices and how it looks, and that's what's happened here.
Exactly.
But what about the wax? Do I have to be really careful to try to get that in every little nook and cranny?
On something like a picture frame, no, because this isn't going to be handled and used the way maybe a table would. If you're doing a piece of furniture like your dining room table, your kitchen cabinets, there you'd want to make sure that you get it fully covered. So now you can feel where there was no wax on, it feels a little chalky. Then you can feel where you've put the wax on and it feels in some ways a little greasy.
Yep.
So then I would just come with a clean cloth and just give it a couple of wipes. And so you can feel the difference once you've gotten that excess wax off. So the paint is actually absorbing the wax. And then whatever is feeling sticky or tacky to you, that's what's sitting on top and needs to be wiped off.
So I'm not rubbing it off though? Like the paint absorbs that wax instantly when it's put on there?
And if it feels greasy to you, that means you've got too much on.
So now, once this is finished, I've got something I can obviously use as a frame if I want to find the exact size of picture or whatever to put in there. What else? I know you've got some things up your sleeve.
So we have all kind of ideas. One fun thing is to simply take a whole variety of frames, paint them all the same color, and cover a wall. That's a very inexpensive way to fill an entire wall in your house. Another idea would be to just take some rope, and you can see on the back of the frame where we've just screwed it in.
Yeah. There's just a little screw right there. Through there. That looks easy.
So then you can see where we've just added some small clothespins, and you could use this to hold pictures, you could use it to hold notes.
I like the spaciness of it too, how it's not like a cork board behind or something. And now I see that there's rope in here. I wonder if this frame actually originally came with rope, or if did someone put that in there?
That actually came like that,
Okay.
but that's absolutely something we might add. If there was ever something that was broken or missing,
Cover it up.
cover it up with something cheap.
All right, perfect. I love this idea.
And another easy idea is chicken wire. And again, we love, as you mentioned, being able to see what's behind here, especially if you have a brick wall in your home or something that has some visual
or a colored
interest.
wall. I like
or a colored wall.
The whole idea of this is white, the traditional wall color, and you might have a color wall. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, so that's an easy one too. So you can see on the back, we'll flip that around, and you can buy chicken wire at any, Fleet Farm, any of those types of stores, and then we just used a staple gun to staple it around.
Is chicken wire hard to work with?
It's not, and just little tin snips will cut it.
Okay. All right, great. And how much is it? Pretty reasonable, chicken wire?
Yes, it's very reasonable, especially at a place like Fleet Farm.
Well, this is really great. I love actually the weight of this frame. To find something like this and have it in your home, I mean, I think your idea of putting a whole bunch of the same color frames on a wall is also really a neat idea, because it gives that burst of color or interest, but it's not, you don't have
easily
to commit.
Changeable,
right?
If you decide you don't love Florence later on.
Yes.
But it is, if you compare taking old frames like this that you find at a garage sale for maybe $1 or $2 to buying a brand new frames at the store today, which are going to be $20 and $30.
Right.
You can, at this price point, fill an entire wall.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you so much for talking with me.
Yes.
These are such great ideas, and I can't wait to get home and get started with my painting. So, to learn more about the projects we've done today and more about Mama's Happy, visit our website.